If you have type 2 diabetes and you're tired of being told it's chronic and something you'll just have to manage forever, if your A1C is controlled but your medication list keeps growing or stays the same, and you know deep down you're capable of more than this, you're in the right place. This is the Diabetes Remission Roadmap podcast. We're Brian Bisher and Cory Jenks, two pharmacists who spent over 2 decades inside healthcare. And we started this show because we got tired of watching capable people stuck getting managed instead of rebuilt. Here's what most people aren't told. Type 2 diabetes isn't just a blood sugar problem, it's a muscle and energy storage problem. When your body loses strength and metabolic flexibility, blood sugar rises, and you can rebuild that. On this show, we break the scripts that say more meds are inevitable, you're destined to just manage, remission isn't possible, and instead we teach you how to build muscle, eat in a way that keeps you full, and regain control of your health again. No extremes, no shame, just practical strategies to help you move toward remission and lead your health again. Let's get to work.
Welcome back to another edition of the Diabetes Remission Roadmap podcast. I'm here with Brian, and today we got a little listener feedback we're going to get into. Brian, are you ready for this?
Yeah, but first, why are you always the one that gets to do the intro?
I don't know. It's just sort of I hit record, so I know the exact moment that we've hit record, and then I jump into it. And
Yeah, that's true.
would you really is this?
No, you're better at it than I am anyway.
Oh wow,
It's a
Brian.
mouth. Diabetes remission roadmap. Okay, I can do
Okay,
it.
imagine that you had just started the show, Brian, and go.
Welcome back to another episode of the Diabetes Remission Roadmap podcast. We're your
It seems
hosts,
like you're
Brian and
trying a
Corey.
little too hard,
Okay,
Brian.
I'm trying too hard.
I can tell
Okay.
you're trying too hard. All right, listener feedback. We want you to stick around because this
Who
one's a little.
should, for listener feedback, who should lead off the episode?
All right,
Let
yeah.
us know.
So yeah, we're soliciting feedback on an episode where we got unsolicited feedback, the best kind. So yeah, let us know. Send us a DM or an email. Who should intro the show? Once the recorded intro finishes.
Yeah.
Thank you, Brian. I feel like it's sort of a nice either or. Like it goes like one and the other because you have you're
Yeah, that's
you're the
true.
start of the show, and then I jump in with like my side of things, and then you usually step on this great idea that I had like right now. So it's a great flow that
Hmm.
we have. People, the other feedback we've gotten is they enjoy our banter. So we apologize that in 2 minutes we've not gotten to the feedback. So Brian, this is too important to continue to talk over. So we got a piece of really thoughtful listener feedback recently, and we love it. Again, send us a DM on Instagram or send us an email. But they basically said, "Hey Brian, Cory, love the show, learned a lot, but sometimes it feels repetitive." And you know what, Brian? They're right. They
They
are
are
right
right.
that a lot of the things we talk about are repetitive. And we want to get into that because here's the deal. Here's the big secret is that repetition is the point. Now, it's not because that we were out of ideas. We could create lots of sensational content that would probably get more clicks and eyeballs and reactions. But that's not the point because the fundamentals are what actually work. And I think out there, if you go searching around the internet, there's this like idea that there's some hidden type 2 diabetes secret that you haven't heard yet. But most of the time, there is not some hidden secret, Brian.
I want to get to that. What's your favorite secret you've seen, like on social media?
Oh, oh my gosh. I try to avoid, I have to go back and think to like all of the patient interactions I've had over the years. I think it mostly just falls in a general supplement category uh, of like the secret supplement is going to be what reverses your type 2 diabetes. And I've come across so many different things that I cannot like it's all blur. It's a blur of just random stuff with proprietary names and usually some sort of celebrity endorsement or just like probably paid endorsements. And then you look at the ingredients and it's like there's some maybe like some cinnamon in it, which is not a bad supplement. But then they throw in all this like proprietary blend of stuff where I would have an honest conversation with the person in front of me like I've never heard of all of any of this stuff. So and do you think that if any of this stuff was a magic cure for type 2 diabetes, that the pharmaceutical companies would not have patented and created a drug out of it? That's my thought. What's yours? You seem disappointed with my answer, but
No, no, yours is good. Yours is
yeah.
good. I like the yep. There was a visual of this guy like mixing some kind of tea, some hot water, a little bit of cinnamon, a little bit of lemon juice, and he's got like this. I guess it's like it's organs basically, and he's like pouring it over there, and it's like melting the fat off these visceral organs, basically saying like, you drink this, and it's just gonna melt your fat from the inside out. It's gonna clear out all these toxins. I'm not saying like that kind of stuff doesn't work, but it's not the big boulders that we really talk about here. And that's the only thing like that comes up like I'm talking to listeners, potential clients, like want to know about herbs and everything, but then they're not working out consistently. They're not managing their sleep. They're not tracking or knowing anything to do with like their protein intake and their total calorie intake. Like those are the big needle movers, and that's why we focus on them, right?
Yeah, I think that people hope that there is some way to continue eating the very pleasurable foods they consume and not have to move their body to then get the result they want. And this is not a judgment of people's character. It's just the society that we've crafted where we have a very comfortable mode of life where your phone can deliver any kind of food to you, assuming you're in a reasonable metropolitan area within about an hour. Like you couldn't even have dreamed of this 100 years ago, even 50 years ago. So it's sort of like hijacking our pleasure centers and then trying to sell some magical solution. And the thing that really makes me sad, Brian, is that these solutions that people come to us asking about are often expensive. And we are here. I mean, we're the Diabetes Remission Roadmap. We want you to get off your prescription medicines as safely and effectively as possible. We want you to save that prescription money. But I've how many times have you seen someone come to your clinic or ask you where they have 200, $300 worth of monthly supplements and they're like, I'm not going to pay for those darn prescriptions. I can't afford them anyway. It's like you're spending $300 on stuff that you don't even really have a grasp on what's doing. And anyway, this is turning into a supplement
No, yeah.
conversation, but I think people's good intentions get hijacked and they end up chasing these sort of band-aid pie in the sky solutions when the truth is the fundamentals are what'll win.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the best pill, so to speak, if you could bottle up any pill, it would be exercise. Like if you,
Mhm.
an exercise mimetic, something that
Yeah.
mimics the effects of exercise.
Mhm.
But they just
Well,
can't do that.
they're working on that for
Yeah, well, I
like
guess they
they're
are.
they're working on one for people who are taking GLP-1s to then like maintain muscle mass without having to do anything to do it. So trust us, it's they're working on it. But Brian, like our core message, like, it and we have stuff to talk about every week. Like we've been doing this now. This is official episode 61. We have a couple of sort of like side episodes that slid in there, and we
Mhm.
talk about stories. We talk about mindset. But the core fundamentals here, we're going to repeat them again for just for this listener, so you can hear it one more time. And I got news for you. You're going to keep hearing it from us. So here's what we talk about. We talk about like a protein-centric satiety-based way of eating. We talk about appropriate movement. We talk about muscle building. We talk about sleep. We talk about trying to reduce overeating, using your muscles. And here's stress management. And then here's the one. Here's the reason why we repeat it often: consistency. We talk
Mhm.
about doing this and doing it on the not just when things are going well, but on life's most challenging days. Because information is not the problem. And maybe for a lot of folks, it is because you're getting information from all these weird corners of the internet. Hopefully, if you're here, you're thinking, these two licensed pharmacists with 25 years of experience have something worth saying. And based on the feedback we've gotten from other listeners, they've improved. You're improving, which is amazing. But there's not, and like we were actually just having this conversation, Brian, with a question from one of our clients that I was helping with. Quick pause for a second. If you're finding the podcast helpful and you want more practical ideas to help move your blood sugar in the right direction, come follow us on Instagram at Diabetes Remission Partners. We share quick tips, food and exercise insights, and blood sugar mistakes people don't even realize they're making. It's also where we can answer your questions directly in the DMs. So if you want more help between episodes, Instagram at Diabetes Remission Partners is the best place to find us. And when you follow us, make sure to say hi. All right, back to the show. It's like I was just in my head, like, am I missing something here? It's like, no. Like even I will try to overthink a very simple problem. And that's maybe the human nature of things.
Yeah, overthink. We love to overthink, overcomplicate, and ultimately avoid doing what we know deep down is what's going to help us the most. I think we'll find excuses, we'll find reasons. Uh, Routine shifted up, your schedule's moving, so you'd have to do a workout at a different time, although maybe that would be better for you. Like there's just reasons we give ourselves that ultimately become excuses for why we give up after a couple weeks of trying to do something.
Yeah. So I want to throw a few analogies at you. And, we have been, I guess, accused is a harsh word, but called out for this repetitive nature of what we're doing. So, but if you had a strength coach, would they be called repetitive for talking about squats and eating enough protein?
No.
No, they're literally doing their job to get you stronger. Okay. All right. Sports. Brian and I like sports, and we'll talk about championship teams, both things that we don't know a lot about based on who we root for. But championship teams will either run the basic plays really well or they'll do the fundamentals the best of anybody. And yes, you can have razzle dazzle plays, whether it's football or basketball. But I mean, thinking of the sport of baseball, which we both enjoy watching and participating in from time to time, you watch different levels of baseball, the mistakes that are made in little league are the same ones that happen in the major leagues, just at a slower or faster speed. So,
Yeah.
and this is what when we're both little league coaches. I coach youth basketball as well. Everyone wants to come in and start jacking threes and dribbling through their legs, and I ask, okay, dribble 10 times with your right hand without looking at the ball, and they can't do it. Okay. And so every practice we start with simple ball handling and they start rolling their eyes and complaining. And I say, hey, the next game where you have no turnovers because you dribble the ball off your foot, we'll stop doing this. And they can't do it.
Do you think Michael Jordan thought it was repetitive when he shot like what 100 free throws in a row until he made all like basically repetition is the key to success. It's doing the boring, not sexy things over and over again until you become an expert at it. Like it's just yeah, it's nothing fancy, but that's why it works.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. One more example here, personal finance. Okay. It's repetitive too. You spend less than you make, you invest consistently, and you just avoid dumb debt. It's simple, it's not easy, but it is effective. So we're here to help you hammer home the fundamentals consistently, effectively, and ultimately so that you get on the roadmap to diabetes remission. Because regardless of whether we're talking to someone in our clinic days or with a client or with family and friends who ask us about stuff, inevitably when we ask enough questions, and we were just talking about this too, Brian, you are very good at asking those questions. You dive deeper enough and people say, I'm doing everything right. You ask enough questions, there's almost always something that you could be doing better, and it comes back to the fundamentals. And we're not immune from straying from our own fundamentals, whether it's our own fitness, our own life, financially, all of these things. And that's why having guidance, having other people with knowledge, having those reminders is why it's
yeah,
so important.
yeah. And I'll say this, Corey, I'm just doing some reflection this morning, preparing for just some writing we do, and I do. And I was writing to people saying like, you know, you know deep down if you have to change. You know if you have to change how you move, how you sleep, how you handle stress, you know that you have to be more intentional with those things every day, not just like when your next appointment is showing up. And again, it's not easy. It takes consistency, it takes patience, but it works, and that's why we put it on repeat. And it's really the only thing that gets you feeling like yourself again, instead of just continuing to drift through this life frustrated, exhausted, and staring at numbers all day. Like that's why literally our job is to help the people who want it badly enough stick with it long enough to see it through.
Hmm. Yeah. And oftentimes the magic is not in discovering new information. Now, one thing that we will say we hear from people who have discovered us is, oh, I've never heard about muscle for diabetes. So that is some like decent new information. We'll give you that. But then you learn it, and then we just keep talking about it over and over again. There isn't some magic lift. There isn't some magic it's just like, okay, find the exercise that builds muscle for you. We're proponents of our simple 2 15-minute strength sessions twice a week. But to anyone out there, like some of it's new, but then once you hear it from us, you're going to keep hearing it from us. So really the magic then is applying these simple things consistently enough for them to work. And so, Brian, we enjoy entertaining people, we enjoy educating, but we're not here to entertain you with endless novelty. We're trying to help people actually improve. And this, if you go on the internet, any sort of social media, oh my gosh, I mean, follow us on Instagram if you'd like, but we're not going to be doing the crazy videos that people do to garner attention that are salacious. It's like I can't handle it. Like I go onto our
Yeah,
account to
I
post
don't like doing
something
it.
and they pop up and I no wonder people are confused and frustrated. And Brian, I'm gonna say this, I'm gonna call us out.
Yeah.
We're kind of boring. Like we don't have like the crazy drink hack. We don't have the like apple cider vinegar is great. We're not going to sell you on some crazy tea. Like we're just here to do the fundamentals. And unfortunately, that doesn't garner as many views
Mm-mm.
or
Yeah.
followers, but it wouldn't be authentic, right? Like
Yeah.
I literally do the same workout that we give our clients twice a week. I just hopped on our exercise bike for 4 minutes before we got on this call to record. And I hate it. I hate doing it every time because it sucks. And then I'm glad I did it. It's just showing up and doing those simple things.
Yeah. I definitely would not be, I don't want to be just focusing on social media and trying to create this content that just gets the most views and most likes. Like I have zero interest in that because I don't think it helps people. I just truly deep down don't think it leads to any change.
Mhm.
I know that there's got to be awareness. And so to get our name out there, like people have to see we're doing these things. And yeah, so there's got to be awareness, like that introduction point to us. But that's why we do this. That's why we chose this podcast, Corey, is because
Yeah.
the longer the longer time people spend with us, maybe they'll either get to like us or they'll not like us. Maybe they won't like us for
Like this
the
listener, they got
repetitiveness.
to
Yeah,
not
they're
like
not.
us. Like they kept waiting.
He's done
So,
listening. So
well, and in fairness, like this is not to like make it a character assessment of you, our wonderful listeners, because modern media trains people to seek constant novelty. Whether you're scrolling, you're turning on the TV, whether you're going out to eat, like we keep jacking up the next level of stimulation from our food, right? But the reality is improvement in your health and your blood sugar usually just requires repetition, boring consistency, and hammering home the fundamentals.
yeah, and that's why I think seek the novelty elsewhere and tur turning your newfound energy, your newfound vitality into a different purpose and just doing and good making turning it into good for other people. Like
Right.
that's I think that's a good way to utilize this improvement in your health. Um, yeah, I think
Yeah. And you know, if you're looking for some profound advice, some profound statement, here's the reality is that simple becomes profound when you actually do it consistently. Former Chicago Cubs manager Joe Madden had a great saying. I used to have the t-shirt, do simple better. This is a man who took the Cubs after 108 years of no World Series to win a World Series, had coached for decades at the highest level, the best players in the world. And his advice wasn't find the new novel approach, it was do simple better. He also had a shirt that said "Try not to suck," which also is a good piece of advice too. Yeah, but if our show feels repetitive, it's because the fundamentals keep showing up because they work. So
yeah.
Brian, anything else before we put ourselves on repeat here and head out?
I had it and I lost it.
Okay.
Um,
Well,
yeah, yeah,
we'll save it for the next show.
I
But
will.
we appreciate you listening. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you give us a rating and review. And if your rating is a 1 star and you say these guys suck and they're repetitive because they get the same information every week, I want you to put that review so that everyone knows that they're going to be getting the same information that works every week. I don't care. We want to know. And if you remember, if you want Brian to start the show, send us an email, send us a message if you want me to keep starting the show, or if you have other feedback. This turned into hopefully a great episode, and hopefully you hammering home what works and in our own lives. Like we know that not having our phones on us all the time is good, and yet we do have our phones. I will be on it more than I want to at times. We know that going to bed instead of staying up later is better, but sometimes we stay up later. We all need these reminders in our own lives of the fundamentals. And so that's what we're here to do is give you those fundamentals every week so that you can win and escape the broken healthcare system. So,
Yeah. Well
um,
said, Corey.
all right. Well, with that, keep it consistent, keep it simple, and do what works.
If this episode gave you clarity or hope, share it with one friend who's been stuck in the diabetes trap. That's how this mission grows. One person, one family, one story at a time. And if you haven't yet, leaving a quick review helps more people find the show and realize they're not stuck with meds forever. It takes less than a minute and it means the world to us. Thanks for being here and thanks for being part of this movement toward freedom. Thanks for listening to the Diabetes Remission Roadmap. The ideas discussed here are for general informational purposes only and do not constitute medical or nutritional advice. We are pharmacists, but we're not your personal healthcare providers. Always consult your own physician or qualified clinician before changing medications, exercise routines, or nutrition plans. Results vary, and what works for one person may not work for another.